What's going on, everyone? I'm right over here in the left-hand corner of the screen for once, and I want to discuss Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. It comes out tomorrow. I was invited for an early screening to see this movie last night, and I tried to make it out there in time, but I couldn't make it in time, and I'm pissed about that, to be honest, because I would have liked to have seen the film ahead of time. But I want to discuss what's going on right now with the praise it's getting. Now, before I go any further, many of you have discussed and have seen me discuss the fact that I hate Rotten Tomatoes. This website right here. I hate this website right here. I don't like the reviewers on it. A lot of them have political agendas. I don't like the way that tomato meter is so coveted by people when it really means nothing, especially since more and more recently the critics and the fans have been disagreeing on a number of different films. For example, Black Adam. Most of the fans loved it. Critics, not so much. Mario Brothers. Most of the fans loved it. Critics didn't understand it. I understand if you're a movie fan, you don't have to understand or play every single Mario game to go see that movie. But a lot of these guys did not have a fundamental understanding of Mario at all. And it's not for them, it's for the fans. You know, among other films. Is that going to be the case with Spider-Man Across Spider-Verse? Well, first of all, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was one of the most beloved movies, animated, Spider-Man, whatever genre you want to put them in, comic book, Marvel movies ever made. I mean, I have multiple friends who have seen all the Spider-Man movies, including Spider-Man 2 and No Way Home, and they say this is their best one. I keep pointing this way because I'm used to being on the other side. They say this is the best one. That's what they say. They say that this one blows all of them away. There's other people who pay more attention to live action, who don't really count it, who have never even seen Into the Spider-Verse. And Across the Spider-Verse has a lot of big shoes to fill. I'm sure many of you can agree with me on that. So right now, it's at 94%. Now, this means nothing to me because Rotten Tomatoes doesn't mean shit. But I want to read the critics' reviews, at least some of them, only because of a couple reasons. Number one, Spider-Man is a bit more well-known than Mario, so I feel like these reviewers might have a bit better of an idea. And number two, I want to see if I can pick out the bullshit. Now, I'm not going to read all of them. I'm not going to read the full reviews. I'm going to read a lot of the comments here and just give my thoughts and see if I put validity to them. Because like I've said before, I don't hate all these critics. I really don't. I don't even know most of them. But a lot of them in the past have been kind of poor reviewers. I'm just saying they're not good reviewers. I'm going to see what these people in particular thought about the film. So Derek Smith says, the film gleefully matches exhilarating stylistic experimentation with a multi-tiered narrative of equal ambition. That I like. I like the idea of a multi-tiered narrative. I like that it's not just going to be about Miles and Spider-Gwen. There's going to be more characters that are going to be involved in the story. It's a two-part story because the next one's beyond the Spider-Verse, and that one's going to be huge. So that sounds good to me. Hopefully, when I see the movie tomorrow, I will be back with a review, non-spoiler for you guys. And then this weekend, I'll put a spoiler review out so you have that. Completely recaptures the panel-to-panel thrill of discovering your respective era's teen angst Marvel icon. I don't know about... See, that right there throws me off. Discovering your respective era's teen angst Marvel icon. I don't know. I never saw Miles and Peter being teen angst icons. I can kind of understand that, but... Maybe for the movies, but maybe not so much for the comics, but maybe it's just me. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Watching it, you have to wonder why more superhero spectaculars don't ditch their nominally live-action shooting strategies for the full expressive freedom of animation. Well, A.A. Dowd, even though you bring up a great point that animation is definitely something that is underrated, I agree with this. A.A. Dowd so far has had the best comment because animation is constantly being shat on by other parts of the movie world. The Academy Awards almost never nominate animated movies for Best Picture, even though, let's be honest, Pixar and Disney have dropped some of the best animated films of all time, and some of their movies blow away live action movies. They don't even get nominated, y'all. DreamWorks also. There's been a lot of classics. And don't even get me started on anime, how that never gets any respect from the Academy. You know? And that's fine. At least put it in the foreign category. You never see that. When do you see Demon Slayer? Oh, well, maybe it's too shonen-y. Maybe it's whatever. Maybe it has to be a Miyamoto film. You know what I mean? Like, there definitely seems to be like a bias or just a disdain for animation. So even though this movie could end up being the best Spider-Man movie ever made, because it's animated, it will never get the respect it deserves. And that's bullshit to me. I'll talk more about that tomorrow if I like the movie. It's a bit too much at times, but also pretty great. It'll be a huge surprise if the third chapter in the trilogy isn't equally entertaining. Well, yeah, I mean, we can't say much, and that's Richard Roeper, so I do kind of trust Richard Roeper. I mean, I haven't agreed with everything he said, but he's a bit more sensible than a lot of other people. Across the Spider-Verse retains the rapid-fire wit and thrilling action on its predecessor. Well, that certainly is a good thing, because that's one of the things that made the first movie so good. And also the Miles Morales character is a likable character, and I think people want to like him. I really do. It's an extravagant, very cool love letter to graphic design executed with superb draftsmanship and giddy, infectious joy. That's a nice little paragraph there. It's definitely a critic's paragraph, the way they wrote it, all, eloquently, which I respect. I'm not saying that's dumb. But I do like how it says a very cool love letter to graphic design, because that means that the art in this movie is going to be phenomenal, and you have to have good art and good animation for an animated movie. I know it seems obvious. I know you're thinking, of course. Well, yeah, but a lot of animation movies just kind of do things, not all, but a lot of them just do things very by the numbers. And Into the Spider-Verse, the first one, was really experimental with the things they did for live action. Or not for live action, for a theatrical animated film. And if they do it again, lovely, lovely. Let's move on to a couple more here. It's one of the most, if not the most, immersive superhero stories going, pushing far beyond the boundaries of what superhero stories should and could be. Mike Ryan, man, from Up Rocks. Now, I hope to say the same thing tomorrow. I really do. I don't want to go into this movie and think it's going to suck because everybody else likes it and feel like the outsider. When I do my review tomorrow here on the channel, y'all, I'm going to tell the truth. I'm going to hit you with the truth. If it sucks, I'm going to tell you I think it sucks. If it's great, I'm going to praise it. I don't think it's going to suck. I don't think it will. But you never know with these things, It's at least as good as the first film, if not better, from Dan Scully. Very simple review. At least as good is good enough for me. You know what I'm saying? If it's at least that good, then it'll be great. I sat and stared across the Spider-Verse like a kid seeing special effects for the first time across many animation techniques and a tiny peppering of live action. Whoa, really? Now that... Are they actually going to do Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield live action in this one instead of just animated them? That's really interesting. Spider-Verse films are a worldly gallery of color, design, and sound. That line about live action is really intriguing to me because I've been avoiding spoilers. I really do wonder if that's going to be the thing. All right. This will be the last one here from NYC Movie Guns from AV Offer. Says a triumph. It's an exhilarating, rousing spectacle brimming with palpable thrills, suspense, humor, and a warm beating heart. Well, heart is what made the first movie stand out. So if this has heart, I'm in. Anyways, I'll be back tomorrow with my review of this movie. I hope you also check out the review. If not, go see the movie. I know some of y'all are going to go see it this weekend. So this weekend, I'm probably going to drop my spoiler review, maybe even Friday night. And then you can come back and check out the spoiler review where I really go into it. But the non-spoiler will be up tomorrow, and we'll talk about whether or not... I'll tell you if I think it's as good as the first one or not. It's going to be hard to top, but if anybody can do it, it's Lord and Miller on Spider-Man. Anyways, y'all, take care. See you tomorrow.